In agriculture news, cover crops are growing in popularity among our farmers, which is leading to learning better practices. WCIA3's ag reporter Stu Ellis will tell us more in today's report from the farm.
If you are terminating a cover crop this spring or planting a new one next fall, Jim Eiserman with the Sustainable Ag Partnership offered some best practice suggestions to farmers who recently gathered at Fairbury.
Well, they definitely want to make sure that they're educated on how to manage their cover crops and some of the big things that we see growers do that can result in some negative consequences. Number one, when we have a cereal rye cover crop ahead of corn and not understanding how to manage that properly. So the first thing, if someone is just starting out with cover crops, we'd like them to take their time, concentrate on a cover crop ahead of soybeans, and avoid using those cereal cover crops such as cereal rye ahead of corn until they've got their feet wet and they really understand the management implication that's needed.
Okay, all right. What about planting?
So they really need to make sure that their field conditions are proper, that the field is dried out. If we're in a no-till in a cover crop system, oftentimes we might need to wait a little bit longer for the field to dry out. They need to make sure that their planter's adjusted properly. Again, if it's a corn system, they need to be addressing their nitrogen needs, which is oftentimes on the planter. But even in a soybean system, making sure that they're understanding what they want out of their row cleaners, their disc openers, and making sure that they're going in with the right attitude of trying to understand that system.
Okay. And about termination?
Termination, don't be afraid to terminate early. I think there's a lot of talk about the benefits of cover crops, and so that kind of inspires a lot of people to get a larger biomass cover crop out there, and there can certainly be a lot of benefits in that. But if you're just starting off, don't be afraid to get out there and get it terminated early so we can make sure to avoid any issues with wet soils until you understand the management system.
All right. Appreciate Jim Eiserman and his advice, and there's certainly a lot of education out there. So make sure that if you're heading into cover crops sometime this year that you know what you're doing. That's our report from the farm. I'm Stu Ellis with WCIA3, your local news leader.